Welcome to Tech Talk Thursday. Soni Saran Singh is the president and CEO of Electronica, the largest SMT distributor in India. And who better to ask about what's happening in that country? He seems to have his finger on the button, not only in the SMT industry, but in many other industries as well, as you'll soon find out. So welcome my guest today, Soni Saran Singh.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. So first question before we get into it really is I wanted to just talk very quickly about the recent Electronica Productronica show that was held in Noida. How successful was it?
I would say amazing. There are multiple reasons for that. The first reason is that because this is the first ever full-scale in-person show that happened after the COVID. And right. This was almost a gap, I would say, nearly about 3 years. Electronica has always been like a front space occupier in the show for many, many years. And this time also we did the same. We had nearly about 360 square meter booth space. And as a coming back after COVID in the show, we have demonstrated the live SMT line.
Wow.
This means it was a bareboard loader, it was a laser marking machine, then it was a Fuji screen printer, then it was Koyong SPI, then the Fuji NXTs and the Fuji AMX machine. Then we had the Heller reflow, then the Koyong 3D SPI, then magazine unloader. So it was a live line. And of course, since it was a public show, so we have designed the printed circuit board of our with our design engineers, and it was so innovative. The moment any customer is coming and they want to understand what SMT line is, we take the picture and my engineers are changing the format of the picture, and that picture is transferred to the laser marking machine, and that picture, I would say the passport size photograph, and it is engraved with the laser marking machine on the printed circuit board.
Wow.
So yeah, and for example, if you are coming to my booth and your name is Trevor Galbraith, so we are going to exchange the business card. And by the time we explain the feature of every machine, my engineer will then take your name card and he will make the program for the NXT where the LEDs will be mounted exactly as per your name. So we already have designed the PCB and it will be mounted on that. And once you can see your own name PCB is flowing through the reflow. After that, we are going to flash the program and we can insert with a micro USB, and your name will just lit with the LED with a photograph engraved by the laser marking machine. We will insert that in the frame and we gift it as a souvenir.
So you see your name in lights.
Yes, sir. You're right. And this concept became so popular. And I would say there was a line forming in front of my booth, and it was an amazing show.
That's incredible. That's incredible. I'm very happy for you. So, so anyway, I really wanted to talk to you today about a lot of the things that are happening in India, because the country at last seems to be really starting to open up properly. The Indian government took the strategic approach of developing a number of regional manufacturing clusters around the country a number of years ago now, with supporting industries on the same campus. How successful has that strategy been?
I would say very successful. There are multiple factors. I would say the entire credit goes to our Honorable Prime Minister. And he came up with the idea of Make in India program. And of course, a lot of think tank in the government, they came up with the policy called PLI, which is called Production Link Incentive. It was a first frame for the local production for the mobile phones.
Right.
And this came up very successful. They have clearly divided because they need to protect the local companies and also they need to invite the global giants.
Yeah.
Practically, it was designed to invite Apple and Samsung to ramp up the production and to make India as an alternate base to China. And practically what we see after almost 2.5 years, it is happening this way. Right. At the same time, the policy is so well defined that local companies are also very well protected and they are not crushed by the heavyweight global giants. So it was divided into two parts. One part dedicated only for the Apple and the dedicated subcontractors, means Foxconn, Pegatron, and Wistron. Then we have the Rising Star, and also we have a Samsung. So these 5 companies were invited. Then in the second level, we have all the local companies. India has also got a local mobile phone brands. Like we talk about Micromax, we talk about Lava, we talk about Carbon, we talk about like Dixon. Dixon is a brand behind the brand, and it's a very successful local EMS company. So I can say this: India has got a mobile phone production capacity of 350 million mobile phones.
Right.
You won't be surprised when you buy probably any Apple phone in very near future, or even the Samsung phone in anywhere you buy in Middle East or in Africa. You will find the box which is called made in India.
In India. So you're saying 350 million in mobile phones in total in the country, including
That's
the
correct.
Apples okay.
That's correct.
So that's almost that's just under a third of the population there. But that's interesting. So talking about the clusters, I mean, one of the ideas in the clusters, of course, was to have critical suppliers on the same campus, so that you had a much shorter supply chain. One of the concerns you hear from some of the inward investors is a lack of infrastructure. So is that one of the reasons that you designed the idea of these clusters? And is the infrastructure situation getting any better?
I would say yes, infrastructure is becoming better, but we have not yet reached the way that China is right now. We have not reached the point where Europe is right now, but there is a significant improvement. Significant improvement in terms of the logistics, in terms of the supply chain, and conditions are becoming definitely much better than it was a couple of years before. Forming a cluster, definitely you have to shorten the delivery time, especially between the suppliers and the OEMs. And that is very important. And the way the PLI is designed after the success of mobile phone, the PLI was introduced for the IT, for all the telecom, the computer related products. It came on the telecom, means the routers and the set-top boxes. It came for the air conditioners. It came for the LEDs. So all are related with the electronic manufacturing somehow or other. And they are started forming a cluster where even if the government has to come forward and has support, it becomes easy. So it is a kind of a win-win approach for developing a particular region with a cluster, creating a supply chain, creating employment. And that is the reason like India is definitely regarded by many agencies as a emerging country.
Yeah, definitely. So you mentioned, obviously, we've talked quite a bit about the mobile phone industry, and the computer business is growing as well. What other key industries are growing in India, and are any of them are they all consumer related, or have you got any of the high rail business coming in now?
I would say the economy is growing all over. It is what is clearly visible. See, I belong to the electronic industry. I can speak more about electronic industry, but there are electronic as a product that goes everywhere. So we talk about the consumer electronics. Definitely, it is growing. But one of the segment which we have seen a sudden surge is the EV business. Electric vehicles, especially for the two-wheeler market, have really grown up. So if you look at the two-wheeler, has got only the electronics, motor, and the battery. Rest are all mechanical items.
Right.
So electronics is like, it is growing that level. I believe another few years, India will be the global hub for the two-wheeler EV.
Yes.
And which has not been taken care by the other countries, because other matured country, even you talk about China or talk about Europe or talk about the US, they are only focused on the EV cars. But they're not. But nobody's talking about the EV two-wheelers, whether we talk about scooters or motorcycles. So India has taken the lead.
Yeah, is it India that is doing the battery exchange system for the two-wheelers, where you can literally roll up and exchange your battery?
Yeah, that is right. Because the thing is, when you talk about electric scooter or probably electric motorcycle, the range can be just probably 100 kilometers, practically sometimes it goes even less than 100 kilometers.
Mhm.
So, and you can't wait at a certain areas where you can have a full charge, even if you're high speed charging. And infrastructure is not right now too so well spread out that you can have a very quick charging.
Mhm.
So battery swapping is one of the very innovative model that coming up. But the challenge is every manufacturers have got a different mechanical shape and the
Ah,
design. So that is why the battery swapping is a novel idea, is a very good idea, but it is not widespread implemented.
well,
Even
yeah.
OEMs are also thinking a lot how to do that.
Really, it comes down to a trade association to create a standard that then gets implemented, or for the government to mandate the interconnection, like they have done in some cases with mobile phones.
I'm sure it will happen because when you look at the early days of the mobile phone, every mobile phone used to have a different charger, and
Yeah,
different pins of a different sizes.
yeah.
And the compatibility was a big issue. But finally, everybody came up. Apple lives in their own world. They say Lightning connector, but most of the other mobile phone manufacturers have standardized with a Type C connector.
Mhm.
So finally, it happened. And I'm sure in the EV business also it will happen. Once it reaches a certain scale, then they are going to change the system and it will be a universal battery for everybody.
Right.
That's what I hope so.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I think so. I just wish they could do it for cars as well, though. Maybe
It's not going to happen.
Okay. Let's move on to my next question, and that is, of course, the recent announcement about the Foxconn Vedanta joint venture to make displays was a major announcement. But what other major incentives is the Indian government offering inward investors?
This is such an interesting news. I would say the government really framed out the policy very well.
Mhm.
And the level of incentive what they're talking about is nearly about close to $10 billion.
Right.
And this is not a small amount. If I would say definitely Vedanta and Foxconn were the first one to grab the opportunity, but other big giants, whether we talk about TSMC, we talk about Global Foundries or Samsung or onsemi, all such companies are just waiting and watching.
Mhm.
I'm sure Vedanta Foxconn will definitely come up with a fab. They may not adopt the latest technology for sure because none of the companies have got the deeper experience in manufacturing of the chips.
Mhm.
But they will be able to definitely come up, which is going to be used mainly on the displays, mainly on the TVs, probably on the mobile phone as well.
Mhm.
But we talk about the cutting edge and the high tech, which probably TSMC is famous for, or Global Foundry is famous for, or Intel is famous for, that may not happen so soon. But I'm sure we need one start company to start with. And when they see India as an emerging country, they will start following up.
Right, that's interesting because that was going to be my next question. Is India trying to recreate the entire electronic supply chain? Because we're seeing huge inward investment, not in the United States, from not just from American companies, but from Taiwanese companies like TSMC, etc. Likewise in Europe, they're investing. So, do you think these companies might look one day at India as a possibility? It's a huge market.
So, Trevor, I would like to say that number one, every country, after seeing the global disruption after the COVID and Russia-Ukraine war, every country, I would say, it is not the nice way to say, but I can say everyone is becoming selfish in this world. They're looking for themselves
Is
first.
it selfish though, or is it a case of reducing risk?
Exactly.
You,
Risk mitigation is something which everybody would like to give attention to that. And risk mitigation is something China plus one, probably. So they're looking for the alternate source to China. That is the reason Apple has announced publicly that they will be shifting 25% of the production of the iPhone by 2025.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Interesting. So, anyway, let's go closer to home and tell me what trends you're seeing with your company NMtronics customers that might influence your line card in the future. Because actually, I looked at your line card; it's really It's top. It's certainly top of the class. It's first in class equipment. But B, it's quite extensive. I mean, you're got a footprint across the solar industry quite extensively. You've got a complete test division. Where do you see it going from here?
Yeah, if you look at the history of nearly about 23 years back, we started in a very small way as a Fuji distribution. And today I'm very proud to say that the company has got more than 200 engineers. We have spread in India more than 9 locations. We represent more than 40 different companies all over the world among all different domains. We are definitely a market leader when it comes to the surface mount technology. And in surface mount technology, when we talk about the Make in India program, which is happening, that is affecting us as well. I am too getting a pressure from the government to do something which is a Make in India. And to follow this and getting encouraged by the government incentives, policies, I started manufacturing board handling equipments to begin with. So in the exhibition,
you started manufacturing what? Sorry,
board handling equipments means
board handling equipment. Yes, yes.
Yeah,
Okay.
all the conveyors, loaders, unloaders. So all such items are now locally being produced by us, which is in the brand of NMT Automation. I have a very clear mandate. It has to be as cost competitive as it is in China, and the quality of the product has to match the international standards.
Yes.
And it is very well accepted by the customers because it's a very quick delivery turnaround and extremely competitive in the price. We have ourselves improved a lot, which I've got more than probably 40 engineers and the workers working in this division. We have successfully manufactured 2 laser marking machines, and we have a lot of other machines in the pipeline, which probably we will be able to announce it in the next couple of months. So this is a kind of like, look at the China probably, other than pick and place, or even pick and place also now, but not to that high level accuracy and the high speed machines. China has got a fantastic ecosystem of manufacturing every machine.
Yes. Yes.
And this is the way that China is encouraged by all the global giants. So same thing is happening with us as well.
Yeah.
So
well, I mean, you have a good tie up as well, also with some of the component supply companies like Isegi and people like that. So this would presumably fold into your automation efforts.
Everybody is pretty excited. Everybody was pretty excited when they have seen our board handling equipments in the exhibition, because that was a public show, and everybody was very excited how neatly clean and how rugged and the well-made board handling equipments, different type of conveyors, and the loader unloader bareboard loaders, we have made it. So it was a very well accepted by the customers in India, extremely well accepted. And now we are being encouraged to make all semi-automatic machines or going in a little bit more complex machines. So that is one of the diversification when you talk about the SMT business. In solar also, we are pretty good, because the PLI scheme is also applicable when it comes to the solar business.
Okay.
Yeah. For example, one of the biggest company, which is a complete supply chain in the solar business called REC, is now acquired by Reliance. Reliance is one of the biggest industrial house in India. And this week itself, there is a solar show happening in the same ground where last week we had the EP India.
Okay.
Then we have an academy business, means it's not a business in it, but we have an academy as a section where we train and provide this skill development program for the young engineers coming out of universities. Right. Because Indian universities are very good in providing education, but probably they are not very good in developing the skills. And our industry needs the skill besides education. So
are the potential employers helping to subsidize these students that are coming in?
Yes.
Or how is that working?
It's not a subsidized, it's probably part of my business plan where I provide the trained manpower to my customers. We pick up the students from the engineering colleges. We give them an opportunity to come to our facility, learn, and we provide them an opportunity for the internships. And then after internship, we take a feedback from the customer. They tell us what exactly we need to hone a particular skills, whether the guy is good in programming or operations or maintenance or quality control. So then we try to give more exposure so that they get a direct employment. So we are creating a kind of a win-win situation among the student, my customers, and our company as well. And the fourth segment where we have demonstrated ourselves is the EV business. And there we have diversified into supplying the complete solution for the motor manufacturing. So whether it is a hub wheel motor or it is a center motor, for the BLDC, we are providing a total solution to manufacture it. And we have taken some of the very good and prestigious contracts.
Oh, it's interesting. I mean, so you've got so many things going on in so many areas. I don't know how you keep up with it, Soni, to be honest. But
I've got a fantastic team with me.
Yeah, you need to have. Yeah, you absolutely need to have to execute that kind of plan. But it's fascinating to hear, and it's really great to hear how India is expanding. I mean, I've been following it for many years, as you know, and I just think it's great to see it opening up at last and taking its place in the world. But Soni, I really want to thank you for sharing your insights with me today and for joining me in this edition of Tech Talk.
Thank you very much, Trevor, and probably looking forward to see you in some of the shows.
For sure.
Thank you.
Okay, good. So we'll just I'll stop the recording there. Where are we? Recording start.
In an EMS world full of supply chain challenges, pandemics, and shifting deadlines, Global SMT TV works around the clock to keep you up to date with the latest process technologies, standards, and breaking industry news to keep you at the top of your game. Global SMT TV, bringing you one step closer to your goals.